What's up, guys? It's manga time once again with a very early Bleach 545, Blue Stripes. Now, when I first saw that title, I thought Blue Stripes. We just had Huecamundo. It's Grimjo time. Unfortunately, it's not, and it's kind of annoying, really, because after reading the chapter, I have no idea what Blue Stripes means. So, if anyone can enlighten me in the comments below, please do. Having said that, this is a very good chapter. I actually really enjoyed it, because you see so many characters we haven't seen in ages, and it really lends to the idea that Kubo is building this up to be an all-out war between every dimension. So it starts off with Yuzu in the Kurosaki household. She's cooking as usual, and she wants Ichigo to come back from his training. You know, she misses her brother. That's all we kind of see there, and then well, we don't see Ishin's being normal Ishin. You know, he's not letting on to any idea that he has any idea of what's going on. We then go over to the Royal Realm, and we see Renji and Rukia, which is awesome. And they're being forced to stare at each other and point like their weapons at each other. That's the training they have to do, apparently. And then this sort of bell falls down on a rope, and Renji kind of collapses, and he's like, "Oh, this is hard work." And then suddenly Rukia gets a phone. I think it's a phone call from Korinji. It's awesome to see him again. And he, you know, the royal guard with the hair and the healing, what do you call them? Healing baths. And he said, and basically he relays to Rukia that Byakuya has recovered. Whoop-tee friggin' do. Yay. Character that should have died is still alive. So yeah, that was kind of annoying. Apparently it's the longest bath anyone's ever had. But Byakuya's not in danger of dying anymore. However, what he did say was, "Are you feeling dizzy?" And Byakuya said, "No, I'm not even strong enough to feel dizzy." So that was good. Hopefully he's not going to fight in the next battle. Yeah, I really hope he's not going to. I really hope he's not going to fight. But both Renji and Rukia continue to point out how dense, like the reishi concentration in the air is. And I kind of wonder why this is happening. Is it purely for training purposes, or is it made so dense that when the Quincy arrive, they can't pull it apart? You know, is it some kind of precaution? I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's interesting, and also it's interesting we get to see Korinji without a captain's Haori on. He's just got his Shihakusha on, and it's regular, and it's the same kind of waistcoat style that he has it on before. So, yeah. I can't say I'm uber happy about Byakuya still being perfectly fine. But then we get to see Senjumaru's Shutara's palace, and it's just drapes and drapes of like cloth and curtains and clothes. And I believe that after this, she's the inventor of basically the uniform, the Shihakusho. So apparently they were stripped off, and Renji tries to remember this. And it's basically just so that we can see what happened in Shutara's palace. So yeah, she gets them to take all their clothes off to do the Shihakusho measurements, and she says that if they don't take them off, she'll cut them off. And so yeah, it's quite interesting. Shooter is awesome, but then we get to see the monk, and we find out his name, Ichibei Hyosube. And basically, his title is the Eyeball Monk. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. But apparently, we then find out that the reishi concentration was for their training, and it's quite similar to the gravity training in Dragon Ball Z. Apparently, the reishi concentration was so heavy when they got there they couldn't even move, and then they ended up being able to stand up and talk and, you know, move about. So Ichibei says, "Are you ready to train with me in the inner room?" And that's interesting. I can't wait to see that personally, because I think he's probably one of the most interesting royal guards, if not the most interesting. Then we come over to Soul Society, Division 5, and Shinji is arguing on the phone with Hiyori, who we haven't seen since the second chapter of this arc. And he's like, "I'm not ordering anything, I'm just asking you politely." But basically, you know, he leaves Hiyori to do something. Hachi arrives, haven't seen him in this arc yet, and he says that a parcel has been sent for Hiyori by Shinji and Miuri Kurotsuchi. Now, since Miuri was working on something dodgy a few chapters ago, this was quite interesting to me, and Hiyori kind of gulps nervously. But I think, judging by the next page, it's just a roller and some like bits of paper, I think. But their job is basically to fix the distortion between the Soul Society and the human world that was caused by the Quincy killing off all those hollows. That also we saw in the second chapter. So it's nice that that's finally being addressed, and it's nice that the Vizards and the human world actually have something to do. It's quite funny that they're still living in their dump of a warehouse while some of their friends get to live it up in the Soul Society. We get to see Love again, haven't seen him this arc yet. But yeah, they all have to do it. Then we go to Keigo, Tatsuki, and Mizuru, something I was not expecting in the slightest, purely because I thought we'd be at Grimjo by this point in the chapter. But, you know, basically none of them know where Ichigo's gone, but they presume it's probably something to do with the Soul Society. It's kind of weird seeing these guys talk about it nonchalantly, because obviously we don't really know. No, scratch that. We haven't seen them properly knowing about Soul Society. Obviously they were in the Lost Agent arc, but they were completely messed up. So yeah, it's interesting hearing them talk about it as if they know it completely. And then suddenly Shunsui arrives behind them, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? He arrives just looking just as badass as always. And Keigo's like, who are you? And Tatsuki correctly assumes that he must be one of Ichigo's acquaintances. And somehow Mizuru knows that he's the captain of the 8th Division. Apparently a soldier called his name during the chaos after Aizen's revolt. So yeah, it's kind of weird they all know this information. I know they've been caught up to speed, but it's just kind of weird hearing it come out of their mouths. But yeah, and then Shunsui says, I'm happy you remember me, but I'd be happier if you were a girl. That's quite funny. Especially since Mizuru looks exactly like a girl. But, basically, Shunsui says he came to tell them something important regarding your parting with Ichigo. That's the end of the chapter. What? Why on earth are they parting with Ichigo? What does Shunsui think is going to happen? I tell you what, Shunsui, even when he's joking about like the whole girl thing, he's a very different man. You know, he's very solemn. He's very he's just not as happy as he once was. You know. But that's the chapter. I thought it was really good. I loved seeing all of these characters again. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. We saw the Kurosaki family, we saw the Vizards in the human world, we saw Ichigo's friends. A lot of these for the first time in this arc. We got to see Shutara's palace, we got to see Ichibei's palace and find out his name. Yeah, for anyone who actually cares, we got to see Byakuya's fine. A lot happened in this chapter, and I'm very excited for the next one. Predictions, I don't think the next one's going to start with Keigo and that lot, because it just doesn't seem like the kind of place you'd pick up from. I think that I don't know where it's going. I honestly have no idea. Only one comment question of the week, guys. I'm sorry I don't have time. I'm supposed to be actually going to work. So, yeah, I didn't expect this chapter to come out. But it's from Anti-Quincy30000 300, and he says, I was going to sleep, but then it seems that nobody in the fandom knows who Uryu Ishida is, except for Hashwolf. But when Ichigo fought against Kurge OP, there was much talking about Ishida. It seems that OP knew very much about Ishida. Is this not important? Was it in Bark's plan, or is it Kura's error? Really great point, and it's something that so many people have brought up. None of the Sturmita know who Uryu Ishida is, but for some reason, Kurge OP was like, are you talking about Uryu Ishida? How can his Heilig file be weaker than mine? It's not possible. So, how does that work? Why does Kurge know it? Is it because he's the jailer, and therefore needs extra information? Could very well be, and that's about the only reason I can really think of. Because he's the leader of the Yagged army, perhaps he's privy to some more delicate information. But regardless, guys, that's it for this week. Oh, my panel of the week. Difficult to choose. The art was phenomenal this week. Really good art. I can't wait to see it in the high quality version that comes out later. Possibly going to go to Shutara sitting in her little palace with all the clothes coming down. That's really awesome. But there were some nice backgrounds this week. So Kubo, good work. Your character art was fantastic as always. Shutara, Ichibei, Korinji, all these new characters look fantastic. They fit in the world so well. I'm going to drop a 10 out of 10 on this one, guys. I really enjoyed it, even if the title was a bit of a setup for a letdown. Luckily, I'm not the biggest Grimjo fan in the world, but I am looking forward to seeing him. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think of this chapter? Where do you think it's going? Why are Tatsuki and that lot going to have to part from Ichigo? Are they going to join in the next fight somehow? Or is Shunsui expecting Ichigo to die? Or is Shunsui expecting to set Ichigo up in the Soul Society forevermore? I have literally no idea, but I can't wait to find out. So until then, guys, I shall catch you next week. See you later, guys.